Hello, everyone. I am so excited to have you join us tonight on the Private Practice Show. I am joined by Elise Mitchell, and we are going to talk about the Plan Your Private Practice Bootcamp, which we have coming up, which starts on April 4th. So, we are going to tell you a little bit about the behind the scenes of the Plan Your Private Practice Bootcamp. And if you're not yet registered, we're going to get you signed up and get your workbook from Elise. So again, that's the dates it's coming up. It starts on next Monday, which is April 4th. You can either comment the word workbook or you can send Elise a DM with the word workbook and she will get you what you need. So what we're talking about tonight is how to get the most out of this free experience. This is something that we do a couple times a year. And what we want to do is we want to help people create a plan for their private practice so that you're comfortable getting started in private practice. We've done this event a couple times. We did it a couple times last year. We did it in January, and we're all set to do it again next week. And we are so excited about it. So I'm going to actually introduce Elise Mitchell to everybody and let Elise tell everyone about yourself. And then we'll go ahead with the presentation.
Yes. Well, hi, everyone. I hope that if you're watching this, I hope that we have already met. If we haven't, please send me a message and send me a friend request. I would love to get to know you better and to get to know your goals better. But a little bit about me. I have 3 kids. A lot of you have heard about them. I love cows and gardening. So if you are on my Facebook, you will see my cows, my gardening. I'm a bird person. It's my thing. The majority of my clinical experience is in telepractice. And so I really love virtual service provision. And then I put on there, I will work for sushi. I will work for coffee. Again, those of you who've gotten to know me, you know that I usually have a cup of coffee in hand when we are chatting. And then I also just have a love affair with Disney World. So those are the things that make my heart happy. And just like Jenna said, I'm distributing the workbooks.
This reminds me, at least, like in class when the teacher's like, hey, can someone help like pass out the papers? I feel like you're kind of like the person that I'm like, can someone help me pass out these workbooks? And you're like, yeah, sure, I'll help you out. So the way that Elise is passing out the workbooks is by sending people messages on Facebook. So the easiest way to make this happen is for you people watching to actually send Elise a DM because sometimes, Facebook is weird sometimes with messages and she might not otherwise see it. So if you send her a message, she'll get it and she'll send you a link to the workbook, which you need as you participate in the Plan Your Private Practice event. So let's talk about why SLPs and OTs are signing up for the Plan Your Private Practice Bootcamp. So lots of people are signing up because they want to learn more about private practice. They also might be signing up because me or Elise invited them because it's free, right? Like who doesn't love free stuff? This is an awesome free opportunity to learn more about private practice. Maybe you had it recommended by someone else. We've had thousands of people go through this experience. So maybe you've had a friend who's done it who recommended that you should do it too. Other people join because they've been following me for a while and maybe it hasn't been the right time to participate in any of my free events, but you're like, you know what? Next week is as good as time as any. So I'm going to sign up. And then the other major reason why SLPs and OTs are signing up is because they're considering joining the Start Your Private Practice program. Now, that is my program that goes step by step through the process of starting a private practice. And we are going to open enrollment for folks who are in the bootcamp next week. So if you've been thinking about the program and you want to learn more, joining the bootcamp is a great way to have an awesome free experience. And then if you'd like to join the program, if you'd like that step-by-step help, we'd love to help you enroll in the program. And Elise will probably be someone that you'll be talking to as part of your enrollment experience. Right, Elise?
Yes, absolutely.
Love it. So let's talk about why clinicians choose private practice. So sometimes I like to talk about my favorite F words, and maybe you've heard me talk about this. We are going to keep this a family-friendly show, so you don't have to, shut your kids out of the room or anything. But the main reasons why SLPs and OTs choose private practice are really for 4 main things. So freedom, flexibility, fulfillment, and financial independence. Those are the primary drivers that most clinicians think about when they think about starting private practices. And the funny thing is that I was on a podcast with someone once and they said, "Well, Jenna, you forgot a F word." And I'm thinking, "Oh my goodness, what is it?" And she said, "family." So, family is another F word and another main reason why clinicians are choosing private practice because they want to be able to spend more time with their family members, right? And then it happened again. I was on a podcast, and this is woman's name is Ruth. She's a private practitioner out in California, and we were talking about how the F words. And Ruth, I have to tell y'all, was like a little salty. She's got a really funny sense of humor, and she was saying some words, and she's like, "Jenna, I got another F word for you." And I thought, "Oh my goodness, Ruth, like, here we go. I'm trying to keep my podcast without that like explicit lyrics thing, right?" But she said fun. And fun is another major reason why people are choosing private practice because they want to be able to have that flexibility and also have the income to have the fun with private practice, right? Elise mentioned Disney earlier, right? She loves Disney, her family loves Disney. So having extra income is an awesome way to be able to afford experiences like Disney, right? And then one more F word came to mind when I was doing the boot camp the last time, which is the word future. All of these things, people don't do private practice really for the now, although kind of, right? Because you get that flexibility and you get that freedom. But a lot of people are also doing it in anticipation of what owning your own business and what being in control of your own life will get you in the future, right? So if you're watching, comment below, what is your favorite F word? Of the ones that we talked about, again, keeping this family friendly. So we have, I'm just going to review them real quick. Do I have it on the next slide? Nope. Okay. So freedom, flexibility, fulfillment, financial abundance, family, fun, and future. Whew, I did them all.
Yeah.
So which of those F words are your favorite? We've got one person who says freedom. Surely we have other people who are thinking financial abundance, right? These are the main reasons why folks are choosing private practice. And so if you are interested in having more of those things, and if you're the type of person who is a planner, right? Most SLPs and OTs are planners. Elise, are you a planner?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Very much so.
Yeah, she's definitely a planner. I'm a little bit more of a type B SLP, so I'm slightly less of a planner. However, I still think it's really important to always have a plan in order to reach a destination, right? So, oh, forgot to go to the slide. So, this event is also perfect for planners and for people who don't want to just go into something without having a plan, without really knowing the ropes, knowing what they're doing, right? SLPs and OTs like to have a plan for anything they're doing, right? Whether it's a treatment plan or a lesson plan, a therapy plan, right? We're like, it's ingrained in us to have plans for what we're going to do. So the reason why we're doing this private practice boot camp is to really help SLPs and OTs have a plan for their private practice. And again, if you haven't sent a message to Elise yet, send her a message with the word workbook, and she will get you a workbook. And she'll also make sure that you're registered for the Plan Your Private Practice event. So if we haven't met yet, which I'm sure we have, but just in case there's anyone watching who doesn't know me, my name is Jenna Castor Casbon. I'm a wife, I am a mom, I'm an SLP, and I'm also a private practice consultant who has helped lots of people, like over 10,000 people, start, grow, and scale successful private practices. And I'm so excited to be here and now helping you get to start your own private practice. So you may know me from this group, right? If you're watching in the beginners group, or if you're watching on Instagram, we're going to post this tomorrow on Instagram. I'm at Independent Clinician. And if you're a podcast listener, you may have listened to the podcast. It's called the Private Practice Success Stories podcast. And that's really where I share success stories of some of the students who have gone through my program and what they've been able to accomplish through having their own private practice. So One of the most important things to know about me is that I don't just teach like some sort of old way to start a private practice. Teach the new way to start a private practice. And this is a way that is a lot easier, a lot faster, and a lot cheaper for SLPs and OTs to get started, right? There's a lot of myths out there about private practice and a lot of misconceptions about the barrier to entry. And people think that it's hard. People think that it's expensive and that it's something that you have to wait until the end of your career to do. But actually, I found a way to make it a lot easier for most people. And that's what I teach folks how to do. And it works really well. And I'm very, very proud of that. And Elise knows many of the faces on here, right? These are some of the 1,000+ SLPs that we have helped start their private practices in the last year. And we have a goal for this year, for 2022, to help a new crop of 1,000 SLPs and OTs start their own private practices. And the Private Practice Bootcamp is a major place where some of these people are going to start their private practice journey. So we've got this really cool map. And although we have students representing all 50 states in the US and also some in Canada, we don't yet have volunteers for pictures for all of the states. Although, Elise, that's one of the things that we should work on getting.
Yeah.
For sure. Um, the reason why we're doing this, the reason why we're on a mission to help 1,000 SLPs and OTs start private practices this year is because more practices means more services for children and adults who need them. And that's one of the things that I talk about all the time is the need for services, especially as we navigate this, kind of post-COVID, but still COVID world, right? Elise, you live in a more rural area. Can you talk about what the demand is like for services in your area?
Yeah. So, I'm in a rural area. If I wanted to get my children outpatient speech or occupational therapy, I would have to commute at least 30 minutes. And when you have, children who have, my oldest, he's a high schooler, so we have sports and things like that. It's very, very difficult to schedule those services because they are 30 minutes away. Oftentimes they're 9 to 5. They are tied to a hospital. And so, yeah, it's difficult. And of course, my other option's the schools, but that's a very difficult space to qualify in here in Missouri. So yeah, we need more private practices. We need you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, parents everywhere are begging clinicians to get practices started so that their kids can get services, right? So, again, this is part of the solution that you could be a part of. So, you wouldn't build a house without an architectural plan, right? So, you also need one for your future private practice. Again, SLPs and OTs being planners, having that plan is going to be vital to your success because you know what it is that you're building, what it is that you're growing, and you have a path that you can be taking in order to reach your goals. So that's why it's really, really important. This should say next week, but in our private practice bootcamp, I'll actually help you make a plan and you'll have an opportunity to get feedback from myself and also from our team of mentors and Elise and Rachel and some of the other awesome people that you'll get to know next week. But not only will you be able to make a plan, but the ability to get feedback on your plan can be really, really helpful. And so if you have an idea, if you're like, you know what, I'd really like to do parent coaching, or I'd really like to do animal assisted therapy, right? Some people want to do traditional services, and some people are already thinking about more like outside of the box approaches. It would be a great time to get feedback from myself and from members of my team about how feasible and what the demand might be for those type of services that you want to offer. So the best way to start a private practice is by taking action versus staying stuck in analysis paralysis. Let me know in the chat if you have been thinking about private practice for a while, but you haven't gotten started yet. And one of the reasons it might be because you're kind of in this state of analysis paralysis. It is very common for clinicians to just be weighing a lot of options and get kind of stuck and not know how to move forward, right? And so, one of my favorite sayings is that action breeds clarity. So, sitting around and worrying about how you're going to get your private practice started and what you're going to choose is not going to get you to that destination of actually having a private practice. You have to actually take action. And that is what we're going to be doing next week in the boot camp. So, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how the Plan Your Private Practice Bootcamp works so that you know what to expect. So, over 3 days, right, we're going to start on April 4th. So, this is April 4th, 5th, and 6th. You will make 5 important decisions to plan your private practice. Okay. Then Oh, you'll create your plan in your workbook, right? And so this is a really important thing that we added in January when we did the boot camp the last time, is because people wanted a place. They wanted a physical thing to, and I have a workbook right here. Hold on, let me just boom. Okay. So here's one of our workbooks right here. They wanted to be able to really write down what their plan was. So we have this awesome, grid that people can use, and it's a great place for you to take notes throughout the week. And so that will be where you're going to be writing down everything that you need for your workbook. And again, you can message Elise for a workbook. She'll send it to you. She's in charge of distributing workbooks, and she'd love to send you a copy. So the other important thing to know is that everything for the Plan Your Private Practice event takes place in a pop-up Facebook group. It does not take place in what I call the big group, right? The SLP Private Practice Beginners group. It takes place in a separate Facebook group. You have to be in the separate group in order to be able to participate. So also, if you registered by email but like you're not sure if you're in the group, just send Elise a message and she can make sure that you're in the right place so that you can have all the action and be part of it. It hasn't started yet, right? So if you're in the group and you're kind of wondering like, hey, when do we get started? We're going to get started on Monday morning, and I'm going to talk about what to expect here in a second. On the next slide. How about that? So every day, you're going to watch a short video. This video will come out in the morning. They're short. They're about 5 to maybe 8 minutes long, and you can watch it on your own time. Okay. So that's the first thing. There'll be daily homework. Then what you're going to do is you're going to leave a comment below the video. And so you're going to watch the video and you're going to make one of these decisions about your private practice. And then you're going to write in the comment section what it is that you decided for your private practice. And it's really important that you leave that comment and do your homework, because there's going to be some prizes, which I'll tell you about in a second. But the way that you're eligible for prizes is by participating. So watch the video. You can even listen to it if you're like driving, or if you're, on the bus or the subway or something like that, right? You can just listen to it and comment below. You don't really have to watch it, although obviously, you'll get more value that way, but it is something that you could listen to if you were on the go, and just make sure that you make that comment below so that we can make sure that you did your homework and then have you be qualified for some of these awesome prizes. You're also going to get feedback on your responses from myself, from the mentor team, and also from alums of the Start Your Private Practice program. So that's really important for you to write your answers, so that that's how you're going to get that feedback that I talked about earlier, which is super, super valuable, especially for people who are like not quite sure about what you want your private practice to look like. We can help you have a little bit more clarity on that. Elise, can you tell everyone a little bit about the guide section?
Yes, yes. So the guide section will have videos, tools. That's where you'll have information on any sort of giveaway that Jenna is giving out. So you can go to guides, and that will help kind of organize the information depending on the day. There's also a ton of great content. So if you look in there, if you are a CFY getting to graduate next month, there's a video in there for you. If you are interested in a specialty of some sort, there is a video in there for you. So definitely go and look in that guides information.
Yeah, it's like Elise said, it's kind of like a way that we organize the content. So as soon as you get into the group, go check out the guide section and there's just awesome stuff waiting for you, like in anticipation of starting the boot camp. And then that's where all of the videos and whatnot will be actually during the event. So the more that you participate in this free event, the more that you're going to get out of it. So if we have like a prompt, just put your response below. If we ask you to do like a little bit of homework, watch the video and add your comment below. The other thing that I want you to go ahead and mark down on your calendar, like right now, is to plan to spend 9 o'clock Eastern time with me basically all next week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time, I'm going to go live in the pop-up Facebook group and we're going to do a little bit of teaching. But I think what people mostly are excited about are the nightly giveaways. So make sure that you do your homework, first of all, so you can qualify for the giveaway. And every night I actually give away 2 prizes. So, when I first started doing these events, I gave away 1 prize. And now I'm like, you know what? Let's do more prizes because I love prizes and I love gift giving, right? So we're going to give 2 of these gifts. And these are the kind of prizes that we're talking about, right? So we've got a marketing to doctors resource. So if you are, thinking about having a private practice that you want referrals from pediatricians or neurologists or neuropsychologists or, any kind of mental or of physician or specialist, this is the kind of resource that's going to help you out. That's one of our giveaway items. Another giveaway item is going to be the private practice clinic forms. So this is my #1 best-selling resource, and we're going to give it to 2 people on, I think, Tuesday night, completely free just by being in the event and by participating. And lastly, we're going to actually give a $500 cash prize on Sunday night after the event is winding down as a thank you for those who participate. And it's something that people get really excited to see if they won the $500, which like obviously it's a nice amount of money. And a lot of people who have won in the past have either used that fund to actually start your private practice, or we've had people use it to like buy an assessment or get their website up and running, stuff like that. It's completely up to you how you use the money, but it's a pretty cool thing to be able to give that away. And the winner is always super, super excited. That one actually only goes to 1 person, but the other prizes we choose 2. So again, if you haven't gotten your workbook yet, if you haven't connected with Elise, make sure that you send her a message and she will get you that workbook. So we're about to wrap up here. But again, I want to help you make a plan for your private practice and for your future. So I saw in the comments that someone said that they've been thinking about doing this, for a while. I think that they said for, a year, but they didn't know how to start. Well, this is the best place for you to start, right? The Plan Your Private Practice event will take you step by step through some of those very first decisions that you need to make in order to create a plan for your private practice. And as I mentioned earlier, after the boot camp is over, we will be opening enrollment for Start Your Private Practice for people who are in the boot camp event. So if you've been wanting to join the program, if you've been curious about it, it's not going to open for everybody next week. We are going to open for everybody in May. Side note, a little hint there, but we are not opening for everyone next week, only for people who are in boot camp. So again, if you've been on the wait list for a while and you haven't gotten a chance to join, make sure you're in boot camp so that you can be able to enroll if that's what you want to do. So, in closing here, I really want you to start to think about private practice differently, right? I don't think about private practice as a job setting as much as a vehicle to get you where you want to go, right? As a way to take control of your professional, your personal, and your financial life. So that's how I want you to start thinking about private practice. Again, is not as just a setting, but as a way to get you to your goals, your personal goals, your financial goals, your goals for your family, whatever it is that you want to be able to do that you're not able to do in your current setting. So, I just kind of said this, but, private practice, I believe, is the only way to take full control over your professional, personal, and financial life. So, if you're feeling a lack of control right now in whatever setting you're working in, private practice may be the answer for you. But let's, come join boot camp and let's help you know for sure next week. Right. So again, we talked earlier about those F words, and I asked a couple of you to comment about your favorite word. And again, this is what you're going to learn how to create through private practice next week. So if you didn't get to comment earlier about what your favorite of these F words are, leave it in the comments because I would love to see. I'm always curious what is driving people toward private practice. And so Elise and I are just so excited about next week. Elise got to be a participant last time in January when we did it. Elise, can you tell people a little bit about like what it feels like to be in the boot camp? What is the experience like?
Yeah. So for me, I was just so blown away by the positivity. I think, it's such a positive space of people that want to do good, right? And so it's very positive. There's a lot of energy in such a good way. I mean, it's so supportive. There are people that were in that boot camp together that actually ended up enrolling and start together, and they've established really close friendships. And so it's a wonderful, wonderful experience. I'm very excited for it. I'm actually counting down the days. So I have it like on a calendar. I'm excited. It's one of my favorite programs.
I love that. And like, hashtag so SLP, right? She's got it on her calendar. She's so excited, right? But I think that one of the things that she said that's really important is like it's a subgroup of this big group, right? For those of you who are watching this in the SLP private practice beginners group, it's a huge group, right? And so this group is going to be a smaller group. We're expecting to have about 1,500 people in the small pop-up Facebook group, which is a lot more intimate and allows people a chance to interact with me, interact with members of our team, and again, get feedback on your plan, as well as make connections with other folks who are in the group, right? So that you can start to make some of those, whether they're accountability partners or business buddies or whatever you want to call them, it's really nice to start to make those connections with other people who are as interested in private practice as you are. So we're going to wrap things up here. But if you have not yet enrolled, or if you don't have your workbook yet, make sure that you message the word workbook to Elise Mitchell, and she'll make sure that you get it. And otherwise, we will see you starting on Monday, April 4th in the Plan Your Private Practice Bootcamp. Awesome. Thank you all for being here. And Elise, thank you for being here and for introducing yourself to everybody. And Elise will be, chatting with people who have questions or, need a workbook or anything like that. Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.